Welcome back, everybody, to the Wandering Samurai Study, in which we review and analyze every single act told in Rurouni Kenshin, and today's act is Act 59, To Kyoto, Part 2! And welcome back, everybody, to the Wandering Samurai Study for, I guess, Part 2, or Section 2, or Season 2, whatever you want to call it. We're officially back. I know that a video dropped last week for Act 68, and that was not actually the end. That video had already been produced prior to me making the decision to make a split and take a summer break. But we're back. And the outline for this video was already written. It was ready to be produced, and I'm barely making it now. So here we are, To Kyoto, Part 2. And there is a line in this chapter that was just, it reminded me why I love this series and why I love these characters as much as I do. It is when Saito tells Yahiko, it's like, well, you really don't like me, do you, kid? And I was just like thinking to myself, like, but I like you, Saito. And I really like Yahiko as well. So why can't we be friends? But without further ado, let's get back into the routine and get the chapter summary review out of the way, and we'll get into this meat of the chapter. Saito mocks Sanosuke's declaration to show Kenshin what he missed by leaving him behind, and to back up his words, he offers to match him on Sanosuke's level with his fist. Sanosuke throws a barrage of fists towards Saito with the intention of not letting him counter, giving him a good final punch, but it proved meaningless. Saito blocked all of Sanosuke's attacks. Saito once again shows Sanosuke the ground, and Sano stubbornly gets up again. Saito makes a Gototsu-like stance with his fist, but Sanosuke manages to stop it. Feeling annoyed, Saito backs off, hurrying Sanosuke to get himself killed, and walks off. Sanosuke wastes no time. There's really two things that we should talk about in this chapter. There's really two people that we should talk about in this chapter. It is Saito and it is Sanosuke. So let's go ahead and start off with Sanosuke. Sanosuke is an experienced fighter. He's just not as experienced as Saito, and he's trying to prove to Saito that experience isn't everything, and that he can think while he's fighting, showing Saito that he is worthy of going to Kyoto, and it's like showing him with his fist while he's thinking about how he's going to counter or not allow Saito to counter. That's Sanosuke thinking with his head. And of course, how he blocked the Gototsu-like attack with his fist by going like that and, countering Saito's attack. But another thing to point out from this chapter is that Sanosuke is still very much the same Sanosuke that we met all those chapters ago when he first fought Kenshin, where he is just so stubborn and he runs on fuel of anger. His anger is kind of what keeps him going. He's very mad in this chapter. He's mad at Saito for belittling him, and he's mad at Kenshin for belittling him, and he's using that anger to keep him going. There's a parallel between Kenshin and Saito fighting Sanosuke. Like high stakes for Sanosuke, but low stakes for Saito and Kenshin. For back then, when Kenshin fought Sanosuke the first time, like he stubbornly continued to get up, using his anger to keep him moving forward. Sanosuke trying to prove a point, but for Kenshin, he was just trying to get him to stop, think with his head, and show him that the revolution is not over, even though that we are in times of peace. For Saito, it's trying to prevent Sanosuke from going to Kyoto. To Saito, it really makes no difference if Sanosuke goes, but he's just trying to prevent him from going. And for Sanosuke, it's very important to him that he goes so that he proves that he is a valuable asset for the fight that is going to take place in Kyoto. And in a way, both of these men tried teaching Sanosuke a lesson. I think that for Kenshin, the lesson was achieved, and I think that for Saito, that lesson was definitely ignored. But that is our boy Sanosuke. Now let's go ahead and talk about Saito. I think that we actually got to peel a layer of Saito here in this chapter. This is probably the most caring that we've actually seen Saito to be. He came off as an antagonist to the group in the beginning, and he's still serving the same function or the same role in this chapter as well. He's the antagonist to Sanosuke. But if you really look at what Saito's doing here, he's trying to essentially save Sanosuke's life. He's telling him that, hey, I don't think you're good enough to go to Kyoto. You should really stay behind. You're not as experienced as us, and you're not as good as a fighter as us. What is awaiting in Kyoto is too much for you. And of course, he's doing it in a jerkish way, the way that Saito does, because Saito's the type of man that he's not going to outright tell you what he's feeling or what he's thinking. He's not going to show any vulnerability if he can help it. And but if you really look at what he's doing here, he is trying to help this group, or he's trying to prevent these people from going to Kyoto and following Kenshin. Now, there's I guess two reasons behind this. For one, I said that I think that he's trying to save these people's lives. But at the same time, this is probably the more realistic reason that Saito will outright admit to, that he believes that these people are a hindrance to Kenshin, and that by them being in Kyoto, they are a liability, but also that he really wants the Batosai to emerge from Tokyo to Kyoto, so that when he fights Shishio, he isn't holding on to these new notions that he's grasped onto since the revolution ended. And I think that is what Saito will outright admit to, and not so much the former reason. And I guess the final thing that I want to say about Saito is that he in the very jerkish way that he talks, actually showed Sanosuke mercy, because he matched him on his level. He showed him, was okay, look, you think that I'm playing unfair by taking advantage of your wound. I'm gonna match you and fight you fist to fist. And he also managed to avoid the wound and still managed to put him on the ground. But he also tries to teach Sanosuke a lesson by telling him that he should learn to develop his defense instead of just outright being reliant on his offense. And that's the little bit of advice or the lesson that he's trying to teach Sanosuke. And he kind of leaves it up to Sanosuke to take that advice and do what he wants with it, because Sanosuke is just as stubborn as he is, I guess, or as we know him to be. He's not one to just listen to others if it doesn't seem like it's what he should do. And so with that, he annoyingly walks away and just tells him, go get yourself killed, don't listen to me. God, I love Saito. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Act 59? 59? Yeah, Act 59 of Rurouni Kenshin. And Episode 59 of The Wandering Samurai Study. We are back, baby! If you like this video and you want to see more, then consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a thumbs up and comment down below something that you enjoyed about this video. What did you guys think of this, I guess, dynamic between Saito and Sanosuke? What did you think of these little layers of Saito kind of starting to kind of peel a little bit? And if you can read between the lines, that you can see that he's trying to essentially save these people from, the horrors that await them in Kyoto. And of course, our cast is not going to easily ignore that, but we'll get into the rest of the group in the later chapters. For now, Let me know what you guys think. Share this video out to anybody who you think would enjoy this. And I will talk to you guys in the comment section down below. Bye, cha.